Going live in just a moment. I will be back. Need my notebook. Okay. Can't believe I started without my notebook, or almost started. Anybody in yet? Not yet. That's all right. We'll start anyway. All right. Welcome back to WMMA Now with your host, Rick Stevenson. Welcome to episode number 106 of the WMMA Scene Report regular show. Where we're going over everything going on in the women's division of mixed martial arts. News, fight results, fight previews, everything. Tonight, we're going to be previewing Invicta FC number 44. Invicta's first pay-per-view event since, I believe, 2012. I have to look that up, but it was definitely one of their earlier events. Very excited. It's got 2 title bouts headlining it, so we'll get into that, in just a little bit. But first, let's get down into where we always start. Fight results from last week. So first up, we're going to PFL 2021 number 8, the playoffs. Had several ladies bouts. First up, Amanda Levy on the right-hand side there defeated Miranda Barber, which, excuse me, that's actually the wrong picture. I apologize for that, for Barber. But Amanda Levy on the right-hand side defeated Miranda Barber via submission due to rear naked choke, 4 minutes, 18 seconds of the first round. Levy, successful pro debut, and Barber fell to 1 and 2. I don't want to say this had, vibes of Congo versus Pat Barry. I don't want to say it was like as great a comeback as that, but this was definitely an amazing comeback. Barber had Levy hurt. Levy took over, took Barber down, got the rear naked choke. Really nice comeback. And a nice way to make an impression in your pro debut to show that you can handle adversity like that. That's something you don't see very often in debuting fighters. Ivan's here. Then, I'm sorry, this one changed as well. My pictures are all jacked up right now. Marina Makhnakina on the right there, excuse me, at lightweight, defeated Claudia Zamora, who I don't know why I didn't change picture. My apologies. Anyway, Makhnakina defeated Claudia Zamora, not picture, via unanimous decision. Makhnakina climbed to 6 and 2. Zamora fell to 3 and 2. Zamora came in late notice, took this fight, moved up in weight. I mean, she's actually a bantamweight. Makhnakina, you could tell, had been bulking up for lightweight. Started her career at bantamweight, went to Bellator, moved up to featherweight for several fights, and now she moved up to lightweight. Zamora was clearly the faster fighter, but definitely smaller and less experienced as well. Zamora just did not have the experience of Makhnakina, and it showed as well. I'll be honest though, I do not like the way Makhnakina looks at lightweight. She looks too heavy, looks too like stubby, like stout, and just looks slow in there. Anyway, this one I got right. Taylor Guardado up on the main card defeated Mariana Marias on the right-hand side there via split decision. Guardado climbed to 3 and 1. Marias fell to 17 and 12. Guardado moves on to the PFL finals in October. It's an all right fight. Guardado still very young in her MMA career. Only turned pro, early 2020 when that was? When she made her debut in the Invicta Phoenix tournament. Yes, in March of 2020. So just a little over a year into Gargano's pro career. Still very much a wrestler, just a pure wrestler at this point still. Anyway, she moves on to face Kayla Harrison on the left there, who defeated Jenna Fabian via TKO due to ground and pound, 4 minutes, 1 second of the first round. Harrison climbed to 11-0, staying undefeated. Fabian fell to 4-2. Fabian she just didn't have any answer for Harrison. Just was afraid to strike. She let Harrison take the center of the cage. Harrison, pushed, maneuvered her toward Fabian towards the cage, got the takedown, got the TKO. Fabian was, I don't know what her game plan was. I don't know if she was just that scared, she was intimidated. I don't know what was going on with Jenna Fabian, but not a good look for her last weekend, or last Thursday. Was it Thursday or Friday night? Thursday night. So that was it for PFL. Only other big ladies bout last weekend was on UFC Fight Night. Cannonier versus Gastelum. Had a bantamweight bout. Josiane Nunes defeated Bea Malecki due to KO from overhand left. 4 minutes, 54 seconds of the first round. Nunes climbed to 8-1. Malecki fell to, depending on where you look at her record, it's either 2-1 or 4-1. I'll be honest, I did not like this fight. Okay, Nunes' power, very impressive. Very impressive to get that knockout like that. But man, her striking before that wasn't particularly impressive. I mean, she was just putting her head down and winning away at Malecki. Granted, she had to get inside Malecki's reach, but that's the way she chose to do it. She didn't have the proper footwork or the head movement to set it up. She just put her head down and, moved forward, looping punches. Malecki is just not UFC material, I'll be honest. Whether she's 2-1 or 4-1, I just haven't seen anything to see that she is UFC caliber at this time. She just doesn't have the fight experience. She doesn't have the ring IQ. Has no emphasis on her strikes, no oomph on it. I mean, she kind of had the right idea in keeping Nunes outside. She just wasn't able to do it because there was nothing behind her strikes. Even like her push kicks, there was nothing behind them. Just, I don't know. I mean, so yes, nice knockout for Nunes, but is she UFC caliber? The jury's still out for me. I mean, beating Bea Malecki just is not. It's not a decider for me. It's not good enough of a decider. So that was it for this past weekend. Let's go ahead and check out some chats. Ivan says, hi all. Judy V, evening everyone. Is this a fight, says Leon? It was. Marina should have finished that fight. I think she would have had she not been so slow. Leon says, what's up, Judy? How are you? And would you rather Kayla go to UFC or Bellator? UFC would pay her more. And that's what she's after. She's after big money. UFC would be able to pay her more. I think she'll have more fights available to her in Bellator. Judy V says, Leon, what's good? I'm okay. Movers coming Tuesday. It's about time. I think Nunes has potential, but not at bantamweight. She should definitely move down to flyweight at least. Yeah, she's too short for bantamweight. She's like what, 5'2"? That's what's her Jessica Andrade territory. So that's great. Judy V says that's a toss-up regarding Kayla. So that is it for the news for this past week. So let's move on, or excuse me, that's it for the results for this past week. Let's move on into the news. So first up, and most of these I actually went over Tuesday night in a more detailed stream. You can go check that out. It's called The Catch Up. Most of the news I'm going to go through, I went into more detail there. You can go check it out afterwards. I'm mostly going to be just reading through these. Okay, first up, UFC 266 goes down September 25th. They added a flyweight bout. between Roxanne Modafferi and Tyler Santos. That should be a good one. Big implications in the rankings for that fight. Then UFC has a fight night scheduled for December 18th. They booked a strawweight bout. Nina Nunes taking on Amanda Lemos. Another fight with big ranking implications for this time the strawweight division. Then Deep 104th Impact goes down October 23rd. They added a super atomweight bout. So that's like 198 kilograms or 99 kilograms, 108 pounds. Between Seika Izawa, the current Deep Jewels strawweight champion, and Shi Park. That should be a good one. And then PFL veteran Morgan Fryer announced via her social media that she has signed a 2-year contract with Invicta. She currently has a record of 4-3, but she's on a 2-fight losing streak to Kayla Harrison and Caitlin Young, though not necessarily in that order. I'm not sure what the order is. But if she moves down to featherweight, that is a much-needed fighter for Invicta's featherweight division. I can't see them booking her as a lightweight. UFC has an event, Fight Night, October 16th. They booked a bantamweight bout between Ketlin Vieira and Miesha Tate. Now, Ketlin Vieira was supposed to take on Sarah McMahon this Saturday, but McMahon had to drop out due to an undisclosed injury. So the bout got moved back to October 16th, and Vieira will now be facing Miesha Tate. Very important, high-profile fight for both of these. I believe that is currently inked in for the main event as well. So Miesha Tate, second fight back, already going in the main event, taking on a dangerous opponent in Ketlin Vieira, and a big chance for Ketlin Vieira to really remind people why at one time she was such a promising prospect in this division. Keeping moving, Pancrase 324 goes down October 17th in Tokyo, Japan. They booked a strawweight bout between Karen, just single name, formerly Karen Date, and Kotomi Shintani. Always looking forward to another Karen fight. That sounds... you could take that several ways. Then UFC has an event scheduled for September 18th, a fight night. Originally, it was supposed to be a strawweight bout between Emily Whitmire and Corey McKenna. Corey McKenna has withdrawn from that bout. So stepping in against Emily Whitmire will now be Hannah Goldie. This is an important fight for both of these fighters. They both desperately need a win. So keep an eye on that one because it could go one of several ways. You know, Whitmire comes out with the fire, whereas Goldie is hesitant. Goldie comes out with the fire, whereas Whitmire is hesitant. They could both come out with the fire, which would make for a really great fight, or they could both come out super hesitant, afraid to lose, in which case that could be a stinker. So, yeah, hopefully they both come out, you know, with the fire under their asses and come out looking to win. Keeping it moving, Polish fighter Ewelina Wozniak, who currently has a record of 5-0, has signed a multi-fight deal with Brave Combat Federation. So I've seen several of Wozniak's fights, promising strawweight, undefeated. She's fought for, I believe, KSW and Octagon. Now she's going to be heading over to, Bahrain to fight in Brave Combat Federation. Brave, I'll tell you what, they put on a good show. Really nice production quality, and the matchmakers do a really good job of making exciting fights. So looking forward to seeing what they have in store for Ewelina. Then UFC Fight Night on November 20th. They booked a strawweight bout, and I forgot to add this one on Tuesday. I hated myself for it when I realized it afterwards. UFC November 20th strawweight bout. Loma Lookbumi taking on Cheyenne Bays. This could be a very exciting one. Bays coming off of, I believe she's got her first win in the UFC now. Excuse me. Apologies, I've got a bad throat right now. And Look Boo Me is on like, I think, a 3-fight winning streak. So winner of this one, if they make it exciting, they could definitely see themselves with a number next to their name afterwards. Then CES 64 goes down September 17th. It will be aired live on UFC Fight Pass. They booked a flyweight bout between Alexandra Palou and Gabriella Golfin. You might remember Golfin. She was the opponent for, what was her name? The Russian girl signed to Bellator, Pantera. Also fought Erin Blanchfield at CFFC in the past. And Alexandra Palou, I believe she's fought in Invicta and also fought for Icon on Fight Pass. So keep an eye out on that one. That is at flyweight. Then UFC 269 goes down December 11th. They booked a flyweight bout. Priscilla Cachoeira taking on Jillian Robertson. This could easily go two ways. Cachoeira by knockout, or Robertson by submission. Either way, should make for an exciting one. If it goes either of those ways, fingers crossed. And then Deep Tokyo Impact 2021 goes down October 17th in Tokyo, of course. They've added 4 ladies bouts. First up, at super atomweight, Ottawa Nagao taking on Moeri Suda. Nagao needs a win badly, and Suda, I believe she just evened up her record to 2-2, so she's got the momentum going into that one. Then at strawweight, they added Saki versus Anauk. Both are making their pro debuts, I believe. Anauk, I don't know what her real name is, but she's actually a foreign fighter in Japan that lives there and trains there. And then a bantamweight bout between Marina Kumagai taking on Yurina Horiguchi. Both ladies will be looking to get their first win as MMA fighters. I believe Kumagai is like 0-3 and Horiguchi is 0-1. And then finally, a strawweight bout between former Deep Jewel strawweight champ Miki Motono and Arami Mika Arai. That should be a fun one too. Arami's always in for a scrap, and Miki Motono is looking to get one back in the win column. I mean, she dropped 2 straight, including losing her title to Seika Izawa. She's going to be coming in hungry. She should be anyway. Oh, and then one final bit of news. I didn't get a chance to write this one down. SFC, Summit Fighting Championship 39, goes down November 21st. I don't know if it will be streamed anywhere or not, but they booked a catchweight bout. Hannah Guy, the young lady known for defeating Valerie Lareda, will be taking on Jennifer Haas. Hannah Guy posted this to her Instagram at Hannah Guy MMA. So you can see if there's more. Maybe there's more details if you do a search for it. But that's November 21st. That sucks for Hannah Guy. She's taking a fight outside of Bellator after she just beat their hot young prospect Valerie Lareda, Master Valerie Lareda, and now she's taking a fight outside because Bellator apparently doesn't have any plans for her. But they have plans for Valerie Lareda apparently because she announced that she has a fight coming soon. So we'll have to see. Let's go ahead. So that is it for the news. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the chat. Leon said, "Did you see Cyborg said Kat is not her next opponent?" Well, good for Kat, because that's almost like getting a stay of execution at this point for her. Leon says they're not going easy on Nina. If you mean Nina Nunes, they are not necessarily. But this could be a really tough test for Amanda Lemos as well. Lemos just, she hasn't faced a fighter of Nina's caliber yet. I mean, let's be honest here. Her last opponent literally ran face first into her fists. Judy, after 9:10, I may not have internet service for a while. Okay. I will have to write that down. After 9:10. Thank you for telling me, Judy. I will appoint someone else a moderator. Give them a wrench while you're gone. I'll just have to make up my mind. But thank you for letting me know. Leon, what's next for GDR? Looks like she's just sitting there at number 1 without a fight. I would maybe book her against Irene. Only fight that makes sense. Yeah, well, I know she like works full time. She's a police officer over there in the Netherlands. I don't know. Maybe UFC doesn't have plans for her. Maybe she doesn't have. She's not trying to fight. Who knows? I mean, when she gets a fight booked, she'll get a fight booked, I guess. But I mean, you just never know with her. She's not a very active fighter, which is unfortunate because she is fun to watch. Judy V says, sounds exciting. Bays versus Loma. I'm looking forward to it. I think a lot of people are underestimating Cheyenne Bays too. Like, I'm not a fan of hers, but I do think people underestimate her. I mean, people think she's a striker. She's actually more of a wrestler. And we saw Jinyu Fry take Loma down, so I think Bays can do it as well. Looking forward to 925 Valentina versus Lauren. Yeah. Good for Lauren, lucky Lauren, finally getting a title shot. Gonna make some good money. Hopefully doesn't get just obliterated. Was it you who recommended the Demopolis versus Godinez championship fight? If so, thank you. I found it on YouTube. Wow, what a fight. That's from Mr. Lee. Probably was me. Probably. Yeah, that was a fight of the year contender I believe that was last year. That was a fight of the year contender for 2020. That was an exciting fight. Just those two just absolutely went at it. Turned each other's faces into hamburger meat. Just nonstop. Really good fight. So I think that was me that recommended it. I mean, I can't remember when, but so yeah, that probably was me. So, no rankings updates this week. I checked UFC, I checked Bellator, checked One Championship, and I checked the unified rankings, which only once a month. So, no rankings updates this week. So, let's move on into the weekend preview. Now, I will save Invicta for last. It has the most fights. Also, it is the focal point of the stream. So first up, tomorrow morning, One Championship Battleground 3 has a one atom weight bout at 114 and a half, 115 pounds. B. Nguyen taking on Jenny Lynn Olsom. Bring up the stats here real quick. Killer B coming in at 6-6. Olsom coming in at 4-2. Now B just evened up her record with that win over Ritu Phogat 3 months ago via split decision. Before that, she was on a 3-fight losing streak. Now Olsom, on the other hand, has been win-loss, win-loss, win. Most recently got a win over Maia Mazar via submission due to guillotine choke for just under 5 months ago for One Championship. Before that, defeated Caitlin McEwen 2 years ago. So just starting to get active again is Jenny Lynn Olsom. Let me see if I can find the age for Jenny Lynn here real quick. It's not on Tapology. It might be on One Championship. Where is my one app? There we go. So B. Nguyen is 31 years, 9 months. See if I can find Jenny Lynn. Olsom is 24 years, so Olsom has the youth advantage on her side. And she will have the height advantage as well, 5'3", 161 centimeters to B. Nguyen's 4'11", 150 centimeters. I think there's only one other fighter in that division that is as small as B, and that's Tiny Doll, Rika Ishige. Surprised they have not fought each other yet. No reach stats available. I'm picking B. Nguyen to win this one. She has the experience factor. She has the tenacity. She has the heart. She has the skills. Of course, she never has the size against her opponents. But yeah, I gotta go with Jenilyn Olsen to win this, or excuse me, B. Nguyen to win this one. She's just fought much better opponents, and I mean that win against Mazar was very nice though for Jenilyn Olsen, but B's coming off that win over Ritu Phogat, so we'll have to see. But for me, I'm picking B. Nguyen. Then on Saturday has High League over there in Poland. They have a bout. I'm not sure of the weight exactly. I think it's listed as open weight. They're both around like 130 to 140 pounds. Anila Lilmasti Bogus taking on Ava Bradnichka. Lilmasti is 2-0 in MMA. Both of them coming against fellow like social media celebrities, reality TV stars, what have you. Lilmasti's like, I don't know, I guess she does like lip syncing on TikTok or something. Bradnichka making her MMA debut. However, she is a former world champion boxer. I mean, a legit world champion. The WBO, the World Boxing Organization, she had a legit world championship belt. And held it up until last year, held it for several years, until she lost to Michaela Mayer last year. Bounced back in her next fight after that, and now she's making her MMA debut. I cannot find an age for Lilmasti. I'm guessing Bradnichka is the elder fighter. She's 37 years old. Certainly doesn't look it. I mean, she's starting to show the age a little bit in her face, but still a nice-looking lady. Bradnichka will be slightly taller, 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters, to Lilmasti's 5 feet 7 inches, 170 centimeters. So, who takes this one? I guess it's as good as mine. If it stays on the feet, I got to go with Bradnichka. I mean, a pro boxing champion taking on someone who's fought TikTokers. On the ground, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know what Masti's training is like. I haven't seen her previous fights. And I have no idea how much MMA training Bradnichka has done. I was very surprised to see this bout announced because I follow her on Instagram and I don't recall seeing any, MMA type training. So she could just be coming in, taking this fight for the money. Hope she's making some good money for it, if so. But I'm picking Bradnichka to win this one just because of the boxing advantage. But who knows? If Lilmasti gets a takedown, she could win. Like I said, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea how to watch this. Don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'll be at work. So who knows? Excuse me. Then on Saturday night, we have UFC Fight Night. What is the fight night name? Barboza versus Chikadze. This is a mostly passable event, too, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, looking down this fight card, it's a lot of forgettable stuff. I like this fight, though. J.J. Aldrich on the left there, taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. Demopoulos making her UFC debut on short notice, moving up from strawweight to take on the always dangerous J.J. Aldrich. Aldrich coming in 9-4, little monster. Demopoulos coming in at 6-3. Aldrich coming in off a win over Courtney Casey via split decision. Had a loss and then a win before that successively. Demopoulos coming in off of a win over Cynthia Arcio via TKO at LFA 4 months ago. Before that was riding a 2-fight skid to Corey McKenna at the Contender Series and then Lupe Godinez in LFA. Demopoulos, the elder fighter, 32 years to 28. No surprise, Aldrich coming in with a height advantage, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters to Demopoulos' 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters. And then Aldrich having a really nice reach advantage here. 67.5-inch, 171 centimeters to Demopoulos' 62-inch, 157 centimeters. Okay, Demopoulos has to get this fight to the ground. She's an okay striker, has a strong overhand punch, but just she's going to get picked apart on the feet by J.J. Aldrich. Aldrich has the height, Aldrich has the reach, and Aldrich has some really nice, boxing skills on the feet. I mean, we all remember that she stunned and knocked down Maisie Barber with just simple straight punches when they fought. And she always looks good on the feet at range. In close, sometimes yes, sometimes no. On the ground, we don't get to see her on the ground that often. But Demopoulos, much better on the ground than she is on the feet. She's got to get it down. Her biggest problem is her takedowns aren't the greatest. Like most non-wrestlers, but BJJ practitioners, she just does not have the greatest takedown skills. Whether it's trips, shooting style takedowns, throws, just not that great with the takedown. She's got to get this one to the ground. I think J.J. Aldrich is going to give her way too hard of a time on the feet, though, and probably even keep her on the outside too often to even get a chance to get inside for the takedown. So I'm going with J.J. Aldrich to win this one, most likely by decision. So that is it for the UFC. So finally, we're moving into the main event for tonight. Before we go into the chat, let's see. Leon, if you need a moderator, okay. I will keep that in mind, Leon. Thank you very much. Invicta 44, a new era. First time pay-per-view for Invicta for a long time. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I think this is like the first time since Invicta 3 or 4, whenever that was, like 2011, 2012, probably 2012. But Invicta, they're trying their hands at pay-per-view now. There's several ways to watch it. I think the easiest one is going to be Fight TV. You can go to your browser. I think it's fight.tv, or you can download the app on a smart TV, Fight TV, FITE. And it's a good card here. This is a good card. A lot of people are sleeping on this one, I think. But there's some good matchups here. Even a lot of these matches here aren't even the original matchups, and I still think they look pretty darn good. Liz Tracy was a replacement bout. The Jesus replacement. King replacement. Messer Blanchia a replacement opponent. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 9 opponents were replacement opponents. And then capped off by these, championship fights for vacant titles. Strawweight and bantamweight. This should be really exciting night of fights. Really, really exciting. I hate using really all that much. But yeah, it goes down tomorrow night. The prelims are free at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific on YouTube or Access TV. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 fights on the prelims. Then the pay-per-view is $19.99. Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $19.99 for 5 fights is a steal, especially when you're getting 2 championship bouts. And like I said the other night, if money's tough and you didn't if you didn't take your lunch to work a couple days this week, if you normally eat out, then you're going to miss out on it. And it sucks. But I have decided I'm going to try to do the live fight companion tomorrow night. So I got to go ahead and schedule that stream as soon as I'm done with this one. That way people know it's going to be on. I'm not going to be like doing non-stop play-by-play. Just going to be, we're going to have some fun with this one. We're going to shoot the stuff, BS a lot, and just have fun with it. I mean, I am going to do some play-by-play, but it's not going to be like non-stop every single round, because that just wears my voice out like halfway through the event. But we'll have some fun with this one, so spread the word. But let's go ahead and get into this one. So we are starting out in the featherweight division. Kayla Yontef on the left-hand side there, taking on Carleen Chandler. Now, Carleen Chandler is the younger sister of Invicta fighter Chelsea Chandler. She trains out of, was it Diaz team or Cesar Gracie? They're in Stockton. So she's part of that whole scrap pack, as it were. Both fighters making their pro debut. Danger Kayla Yontef. Looks like she has a nice amateur record here. She's 5-0 as an amateur. 3 of those wins coming via finish. Chandler, from what Topology has, is 0-1 as an amateur, making her pro debut. Looks like she tried to make her debut back in 2019 on 2 separate occasions, and they both fell through. And then took that amateur bout in February of last year that she lost via TKO. So, anyway, I have no other stats on these 2. I know nothing about them other than their names, their amateur records, and that Chandler is the sister of Chelsea Chandler, who's mostly famous for calling out Kayla Harrison and accusing her of ducking her only after the fight had already happened. So, I'm not going to pick. I can't make a pick on this one. According to Topology, Yontef is the heavy favorite at -500 to Chandler at +370, moderate underdog. But I'm not making a pick on this one. Even if I was the betting type, there's no way I'd be betting on 2 pro debutantes. Then we have an atomweight bout. My favorite division, atomweights. Katie Perez taking on Natalie Salcido. You might remember Katie Perez had probably the fight of the night against Lindsey Van Zandt at the Invicta Atomweight Phoenix tournament in the quarterfinals. So Perez coming in at 2-1 officially. She is coming off that submission loss in an exhibition to Van Zandt a little under 2 months ago. Before that, she was coming off a win via rear naked choke submission 9 months ago. Salcido making her pro debut. She is 5-0 as an amateur, with her last 3 fights winning by way of submission. Let's see. Salcido is 1 year the elder, 29-28 for Perez. Perez on the left-hand side there. Left-hand side. Let's see. Looks like Perez is the taller fighter, 5'3", 160 centimeters to 5'0", 152 centimeters for Salcido, which when I saw the weigh-in pictures, it certainly looked like Perez was taller. And then Perez has a reach advantage as well, 64.5-inch, 164 centimeters to Salcido's 60.6-inch, 154 centimeter reach. I don't know anything about Salcido. I have seen Perez fight. Now, granted, she has lost to DeCourcy, Jillian DeCourcy, Invicta veteran, and then Lindsey Van Zandt. But I got to go with the fighter I'm more familiar with, so I'm going with Perez. Now, Perez is actually the moderate underdog according to Topology at +210, whereas Salcido is a -275 moderate favorite. I don't know why someone would make Salcido the favorite when she's debuting. Maybe it's because of the winning streak as an amateur. When did her amateur fights come? All of her amateur fights, 2 in 2017 and then 3 in 2019. So she hasn't fought in a while. And now she's making her pro debut. So I'm going to go with Katie Perez to win this one. Then we move on into the fights where I actually had the fancy pictures for. This one is, I believe, also at atomweight. Katie Saul taking on Marissa Messer-Valencia at atomweight. Valencia taking this fight on like a week, less than a week's notice. So she actually made the limit, I guess. Only one fighter missed weight. So unless they changed it from an atomweight to a catchweight or strawweight bout, good on, hey, kudos to Marissa Messer taking a fight on short notice and making atomweight. Kudos to the spider, the real spider monkey. Sol, the Queen of the North, coming in at 3-4. Messer Valencia coming in at 3-1. Now Sol is riding a 2-fight losing streak to Alexandra Toncheva 2 years ago, and then most recently, just under 2 years ago, to Elise Anderson via split decision. First fight for her in a while. Valencia coming in off officially, she's coming in off of a loss to Linda Mahalik a year and 10 months ago. Since then, though, she went 1-1 at the Phoenix tournament. Let's see. Sol is the elder fighter, 34 years to, excuse me, Valencia's 29. Sol is the taller fighter, 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters, to Valencia's 5'0", 152 centimeters. Reach is very similar, almost the same though. 63.5, 161 centimeters for Sol, 63 inches, 160 centimeters for Valencia. So interestingly enough, and I mentioned this on Tuesday, I believe, but Valencia was the replacement for Katie Sol in the Phoenix tournament. Sol had visa issues, if I remember correctly, and Valencia came in, stepped in on, I think like 2 weeks' notice or something. Took that, went in 1-1, defeated Paulina Granados before falling to Jessica Del Boni, the tournament winner. This one could go either way for me. Valencia, she's a slugger, has some nice striking. I believe Sol is also a striker. Man, it's just been so long since I've seen her fight. But could go either way. I got to go with the more prepared fighter though. I got to go with Katie Sol. So I just have that. I just have my particulars, and actually, according to Topology, Sol is the moderate underdog at +205, whereas Valencia is at -275 moderate favorite. That's probably due to the activity, the more recent activity. Also, Sol being on a 2-fight losing streak. You know what? No, I changed my mind. I'm going to go with Messer Valencia to win this one. She's got the dog in her. She might not be the underdog, the betting underdog, but she has the dog in her. I thought she was going to lose to Paulina Granados, and she came in and did really well. So then we move on to a flyweight bout. Caitlin Salmons taking on Helen Peralta. Ginger Salmons coming in at 3-1. Ayansa coming in at 3-2. I probably murdered that nickname. But Salmons coming in off of a loss, the first loss of her career, to Stephanie Geltmacher 8.5 months ago via TKO. KO. Just ate a huge punch and was done. Huge overhand punch. Peralta coming in off a loss as well via split decision to Laura Gallardo at CFFC just under 2 months ago. Both fighters coming in off of wins before that. Salmons to Claire Guthrie 11 months ago before via split decision. Peralta beating Jennifer Cheng, who had moved up in weight, like on short notice for that fight. Let's see. Peralta is the elder fighter, 33 years, to the more svelte Caitlin Salmons at 27. Salmons, the taller fighter, at 5'4", 163 centimeters, to Peralta's 5'1", 155 centimeters. And then Salmons at 65-inch reach is identical to Peralta's at 65-inch, 165 centimeters. So identical reach. 3-inch height advantage to Salmons, but identical reach. I usually pick Salmons to win, but she's facing a very dangerous fighter in Helen Peralta. This is another one. This is a really well-matched fight here that could go either way. I got to pick against the Ginger this time. I'm going with Helen Peralta to win this one. But this is really well matched up. I don't know who the current Invicta matchmaker is, but they have been doing really well ever since they took over. Some questionable matchmaking out of Invicta in the past, and it's not to discredit any of the previous matchmakers, but whoever's doing it right now has just been doing that much better. Less, just really evenly matched fights. which honestly they make for the best fights. You know, mismatches might make for exciting finishes sometimes, but more evenly matched fight just makes for overall better fights more often than not. So then we move up to bantamweight for this next one. Serena De Jesus taking on UFC vet Lauren Mueller. The Southpaw Outlaw Serena coming in at 3-2. Princess Tiger coming in at 5-3. De Jesus coming in off of 2 straight wins. Most recently took one a month and a half ago. Defeated Liz Phillips in a small promotion, a UFC veteran. Whereas Mueller coming in on a 3-fight losing streak that saw her get cut from the UFC. So lost to Yanan Wu via submission, then Polyana Batalio via decision, and then most recently a year and 9 months ago to JJ Aldrich via decision. So aside from that one submission loss, it's not like she's getting blown out of the water or anything. So both fighters are the same age, 29 years old. Looks like Mueller's like older by 2 months. The Southpaw Outlaw is the taller fighter, 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters to Mueller's 5 feet 5 inch, 165 centimeters. And De Jesus has the reach advantage as well, 69.5 inch, 177 centimeters to Lauren Mueller's 67 inches, 170 centimeters. So De Jesus was not originally scheduled for this fight. This was originally supposed to be Monica Franco. Franco had to withdraw for whatever reason. So Mueller coming in more prepared, but I like who De Jesus surrounds herself more. Her team there at Syndicate in Las Vegas, better than Mueller training out of was it San Diego Fight Club? Yeah, San Diego Fight Club. I mean, they just haven't been getting her to the wins lately. So I like both of these fighters. I certainly don't want either of them to lose, and I would love to see Mueller turn it around. And while she is taking this fight on short notice, relatively short notice, I still got to go with Serena De Jesus. And she is the slight underdog here at plus 145. Mueller coming in at slight favorite minus 175. So that's almost even. So if you can get De Jesus as a dog, but I'd take her. Like I said, I don't want to see either fighter lose. I like them both, but more cheering. Sorry, Serena, but I'm cheering for Mueller. I want to see her be able to turn that around, which Invicta is a good place to be able to turn your career around. Just ask Angela Hill. So then we move back down to strawweight. Jodie Escobar taking on Liz Tracy, who's making her strawweight division debut, or should be, but she missed weight. I believe she weighed in at 117 point something, so missed the limit by like a pound and a half. Lost a quarter of her fight purse. Anyway, Escobar coming in at 6-6. The Titan Tracy coming in at 5-4. Man, both of these fighters desperately need a win here. Escobar riding a 4-fight losing streak, most recently to Hannah Cyphers via decision almost 2 years ago in the UFC that saw her get her walking papers. Liz Tracy coming off a decision loss to Victoria Leonardo 10 months ago. Now, let's see. Tracy, slightly younger, 33 years to Escobar's 35 years. Slightly taller, 5'2", 157 centimeters to Escobar's 5'1", 155 centimeters. Looks like the reach is even at 64 inches, 163 centimeters. So Tracy, I believe, she was not the original opponent for Jodie Escobar. Escobar was supposed to face Kelly D'Angelo, and then Liz Tracy always fighting that flyweight before this, but took the fight on short notice, tried to make the weight, did not work out. And Judy said she looked tough at the weigh-ins. Like tough or like rough? Oh. Tracy has fought more recently and is the slight favorite, minus 165 to Escobel, who hasn't fought in almost 2 years and is the plus 130 slight underdog. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I'll go for Jody Escobel because you never know. That weight cut might have actually really affected Liz Tracy. It might have hurt her. It might have been really that rough, and it might make for a tough recovery. So we'll go with Jody Escobel. So moving along, feature bout here at flyweight. Brogan Sanchez taking on Emily King. Killer B Sanchez coming in at 6-2. King coming in at 5-5. Sanchez coming in on a 2-fight skid to Pro Gonzalez and then Aaron Blanchfield. That was almost a year ago. King coming in off of a loss to Shannon Gogery via rear naked choke just a little over a month ago. Before that was coming off a win over Kayla Rocco. Let's see. King is the younger fighter, 28 years to Sanchez's 32. They are the same height, 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters. However, Sanchez, a little bit of a reach advantage, 67 inches, 170 centimeters to King's 65.5 inches, 166 centimeters. Now, Sanchez is the heavy favorite at minus 450 to King's plus 335 moderate underdog. So if you haven't seen it yet, I did interview Emily King just last week, like last Wednesday or Thursday. And she was supposed to fight next weekend for Victory Fighting Championships at strawweight. She took this fight on short notice, like a week notice. Sanchez was supposed to fight Mara Romero Barella, who had visa issues. So King getting another chance at Invicta, moving up in weight to do it. A very, very risky decision for Emily King. I'll be cheering for her all the way. Nothing against Brogan Sanchez, but I'll be cheering for Emily King. And that's nothing personal. Okay, maybe a little personal. Nothing against Sanchez, though. Nothing against her. I'll be cheering for Emily King, but I got to pick Sanchez to win this one. Sorry, Emily, but I got to go with Sanchez. I mean, you look at the level of opponents that each of them has faced, who they've won against, who they've lost to, and then you look at the actual fights themselves. Sanchez has an absolute mean streak, a killer instinct to her that I just have not really seen from Emily King. And is Sanchez the most polished fighter? No, but she's definitely more polished than King is. And she just is a lot faster as well. She'll definitely, I think even though King is coming in as the lighter fighter, moving up in weight, just Sanchez is faster. King is a little bit slow to react sometimes. When I watched her last fight against Shannon Gogery, I mean, and you look at who Brogan Sanchez's losses are to. Pro Gonzalez, not great, but certainly not a bad loss. And then to Aaron Blanchfield, who is about to make her UFC debut. Now, King has fought more recently. I mean, she's fought within, 3 times? Yeah, she's fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Or no, she's fought 3 times in the space since Brogan Sanchez had her last fight. But Sanchez was preparing for a flyweight bout. King was preparing for a strawweight bout and moved up on short notice. I got to go with that, Brogan Sanchez. I mean, she just has that killer instinct to her. But like I said, I'll be cheering for Emily King. I like Emily. So finally, we move into the co-main event, vacant bantamweight championship. Lisa, the Battle Angel Verzosa, taking on Tanisha, triple threat Tennant. Battle Angel coming in at 6-1. Triple threat coming in at 3-1. Now Verzosa coming in off of a win via split decision over Raquel Canuto. Was that really that long ago? 10 months ago, or 10 and a half months. Before that, had a split decision loss for the vacant bantamweight title to Yulia Stolyarenko. That was a year and a half ago. Triple threat Tennant. She hasn't fought in almost 11 months, losing that controversial decision to Danielle Wolf in the Contender Series. Before that, was undefeated as a pro. Defeated Taylor Gordado in her last official win a year and 5 months ago, and also won the Phoenix tournament for the bantamweight division, which was mostly like other novice beginner level fighters. Tennant, the elder fighter, 32 to Battle Angels, 25 years. Tennant slightly taller, 5'7", 170 centimeters to Verzosa's 5'6", 168 centimeters. Tennant's going to have a really nice reach advantage as well. 72 inches, 183 centimeters to 68 inches, 173 centimeters for Verzosa. Tennant is listed as a slight favorite at -165 to Verzosa's +135. So I'm taking Tanisha Tennant to win this one. This could be really good. This could be a really good one. Tennant to me is the more polished striker, whereas Verzosa, not as polished, more ready to go in and, be like a pressure fighter or a brawler. On the ground, I give the advantage to Verzosa if she gets it there. We haven't seen Tennant on the ground too often, so I give the slight advantage. I give the advantage there to Verzosa, but that's if it gets to the ground. On the feet, Tennant, like I said, she's a lot more polished, more of a pure striker, like a pure boxer style almost. And we saw her what she did against like a smaller, honestly, a much shorter also, like brawler style in Hope Chase. Now, granted, doesn't have near the height or reach advantage that she did against Hope Chase, but we've seen Tennant take on, less polished strikers, brawler, pressure fighters before. And that's not to say that Verzosa is a bad striker. She's not. Just that Tennant is more polished. I'm going with Tanisha Tennant here, but I mean, like, you look at the odds. They're very close. So it could easily go either way, but I like Tennant to win this one. And yeah, they've both last fought around the same time. So they both had the same amount of layoff time. So we'll go with Tanisha Tennant to be crowned the new Invicta bantamweight champion. Then we move into the main event, vacant strawweight championship. Emily Gordinia Ducote taking on Dynamite Danielle Taylor. Gordinia coming in at 9-6. Taylor coming in at 11-5. Both fighters coming in off of wins. Ducote over Juliana Lima via decision a year ago. Taylor off a split decision over Jessica Aguilar 9 months ago. Before that, both fighters were coming in off a loss. Ducote to now UFC fighter Kanako Murata a year and 8 months ago. Taylor took a decision split loss to Juliana Lima a little over 2 years ago. Let's see. Ducote is the younger fighter, 27 years to Taylor's 31. Ducote slightly taller, 5 feet 2 inch, 157 centimeters to Taylor's 5 feet nothing, 152 centimeters. Reach is even here, 64 inch, 163 centimeters. Either Ducote has shorter arms or Danielle has longer arms than I remember. This is an interesting one. Okay, we all know what Danielle Taylor likes to do. She comes in and circle, 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 circle. Lateral movement. She even brags about it, cheers about it after fights. Lateral movement, baby. So Ducote has to come in and cut off the cage. When she cuts off the cage, if she does that, that's when Taylor could get dangerous. Taylor does have heavy hands. Now, we haven't seen a legit knockout from her since way back in her King of the Cage days, way back in 2016. March of 2016. So, actually, she hasn't stopped anybody since then. Whereas Ducote, she's got some newfound power as well that she hadn't previously displayed. Knocked out Janessa Morandin just under 2 years ago, like 3 fights ago, and then defeated Juliana Lima, UFC veteran. Like I said, what was that? A year ago. UFC veteran and Taylor taking on Bellator veteran and Bellator title challenger in Ducote. Ducote also fought heavier too. She fought in Bellator at flyweight, had a decent record there, fighting up in weight, moved back down to strawweight for Invicta. I believe this is the second time she's fighting for the gold as well. Yeah. Fought in a title fight against Kanako Murata, which she lost. I'm going with Emily Ducote here. She's the more well-rounded fighter. I believe that she's smart enough to know how to cut off the cage against Danielle Taylor. Has more ways to win the fight than Taylor does. So I got to go with Emily Ducote and Yutho on her side as well. Taylor, if she comes in as Dynamite Danielle, could very well win it. I hope we get to see that Dynamite Danielle. I'm talking about the Danielle Taylor that beat the crap out of Montserrat Ruiz in Invicta 2.5 years ago. Sent Ruiz to the hospital with, I believe, a broken ankle after the fight. If that Taylor comes in, the Dynamite Danielle Taylor, Ducote could have a tough night on her. If Ducote doesn't cut off the cage, she could be in for a long night as well. I'm picking Ducote, and I'll be honest, I'm cheering for Ducote as well because her fights tend to be more exciting. That's all there is to it. Danielle Taylor tends to be boring more often than not. So picking Emily Ducote, cheering for Emily Ducote as well to become the new Invicta strawweight champion. So that is it for Invicta FC 44. Like I said, this goes down on pay-per-view. Check InvictaFC.com. Should have some articles up on it, but I'll be watching it via Fight TV, Fight.tv on your browser, Fight TV app on your phone, your tablet, or I believe it's even available on most smart TVs. So check that out. I know it's available on Roku as well. So check that out. And like I said, I'll be doing, if my throat, as long as my throat is good to go. If my throat doesn't feel good to go, then I won't be doing the stream. I'll cancel it. But if it's good to go, then I'll go ahead and do a live fight companion. Mostly just having fun with it. But we'll see. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the chat. Judy B says, okay, Ducote, Verzosa, Walker Sanchez, Tracy, and Mueller. Tracy only because she looks mean, says Judy B. She does look mean. She's a mean-looking lady. Emily won't do another interview with you again. Well, I hope that's not true. I hope she's not that kind of fighter. I mean, we do know that some fighters are absolutely sensitive, and if you dare to pick against them, will not talk to you afterwards. I don't think Emily is that type of fighter. Like I said, I'm still cheering for her. It's just I gotta make honest fight picks. I can't pick just based on who I like. I try to keep it, I try to keep this a neutral channel as much as I can. Like, I'll admit, if I like a fighter, I'll admit that I like them. If I favor them because of that, then I'll admit to it. Like I said, I'm cheering for Emily, but I gotta call it straight. That's what I've tried to build my reputation on. So I gotta keep calling it straight no matter what. If I lose interviews because I pick against certain fighters, then that's on them. Somewhat loss for me, but it's just as much of a loss for them because it shows what kind of fighter they are, and it keeps them from reaching a potential, new fans. But that's just how it's got to be. Judy says the fight with Yulia was bloody. Yes, Verzosa versus Stoyarenko. That was also a fight of the year contender. Probably would have won ladies fight of the year last year had not Zan versus Joanna been the very next night. Oh my God. How was that fight? You went away walking, you went away from Verzosa versus Stoyarenko going, man, how is this fight going to be topped? Boom, next night. Zan versus Joanna. It was a shame because it just completely overshadowed Stoyarenko versus Verzosa. It really did. LaJuan Williams, I'm only 3 minutes in. Anyway, to put the names on the screen or in the description. So, yeah, I try to. I keep meaning to do that. If I make my own thumbnails, I often don't put the names on. So I try to at least use the cursor here that you might see on the screen to point out who is who. I try to, but if I find really nice pics like these ones that Invicta put up, then I'll use those because they have the names. LaJuan says, I'll be watching till the end of the video though. But one name you mentioned I can't find. Couldn't understand how it was pronounced. No biggie though. Was it Marina Makhnakina? The Russian lady? Could be. So, that is it for tonight. We kept it a little over an hour like we usually do. I try not to drone on too much. I just released a video within a half hour before this one started. Narrative busting. Was Wei Li beating Rose? And it is marked with a spoiler, with a trigger warning, just in case. Go check that one out. If you haven't yet, go check out the stream I did Tuesday night. I did add if you haven't seen it yet, going over all the news. I just added, what do you call them? Timestamps in the description. Go catch up on that news as well. If you want, you can check me out on Twitter at now WMMA. I am on Instagram as well, LETO1776. That's a mix of personal and MMA, although I haven't posted anything personal on there in a while. I'm just not a big picture taker or anything. Yes. Don't forget to hit the like button, get the algorithm going. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. It is the most complete now. Doing interviews now, going to try to do more. I cover the widest variety of fights going on. I try to cover fights from all over the world. I'm not just a UFC or Bellator channel. I try to, give credence to ladies all over the world. I try to do everything, predictions, reviews. I gotta get, more busy on reviews. I will admit that I seriously lack in-fight reviews, especially lately. Got to get into that more. I'm going to try to do fight news, reviews, previews. I try to do at least one live stream a week to try to reach, more audience. Just did my first short video the other day, and that's got, I'll tell you what, I did not expect that, but that little short, it's actually called a short, a YouTube short. That little short that was only 15 seconds has something like 913 views in 3 days, 14 likes, which is really nice. Wow. I saw another live streamer, not an MMA live streamer, but I saw someone recommend doing the shorts because it says they reach a bigger audience. I could not believe 914 views on a 15-second video clip. That was all I was allowed to do. So trying to expand more. Trying to find like a technical expert that can do like fight breakdowns, particularly on the grappling. There are striking breakdowns galore on YouTube. Not nearly as many focus on the grappling aspects of MMA. So that is someone I particularly want to try to find. Someone that can do grappling breakdowns. Bring them on either onto the stream or upload videos directly to the channel doing breakdowns. But I'm going to try to look for both. Trying to just expand, what the channel is currently doing. If I call myself the most complete women's MMA dedicated platform on YouTube, gotta live up to my word. So anyway, I just BS'd for about 5 straight minutes. So like I said, likes, shares, please share any videos or streams that you like, and subscribe. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow night, tentatively, for Invicta 44 live fight companion. We'll see you tomorrow night, guys. Everyone.